The world is on alert as conflict, diplomacy, and political upheaval dominate headlines across multiple regions. We have updates from the Middle East, with escalating tensions, significant developments in Afghanistan, and a notable political shift in Armenia. Here are today's top 10 stories you need to know. Innovations in renewable energy technologies are paving the way for a more sustainable future. Recent advancements in wind and solar energy capture have shown promise in increasing efficiency. Governments are exploring new policies to incentivize the adoption of renewable sources in an effort to combat climate change. These developments are essential as the world seeks alternatives to fossil fuels. The impact of renewable energy goes beyond environmental benefits, as it also presents economic opportunities. Job creation in the green energy sector is becoming a significant focus for policymakers. As technology continues to evolve, the potential for renewable energy to transform economies is substantial. Future investments and commitments will determine the pace at which these changes are implemented. Recent breakthroughs in space technology have captivated global interest, signaling a new era of exploration. Innovations in satellite technology are enhancing global communication and data collection, crucial for addressing climate change and disaster management. Governments and private companies alike are pouring substantial resources into research and development, aiming to push the boundaries of space exploration further than ever before. The potential for commercial space travel is no longer a distant dream, attracting significant investment from the private sector. However, as nations race to stake their claims in space, ethical concerns arise regarding the commercialization of celestial resources. This burgeoning field presents immense opportunities, but also necessitates international collaboration to navigate complex challenges. As we advance, establishing robust frameworks for space governance will be vital to ensuring equitable and sustainable practices in our quest for the stars. Rising tensions in the South China Sea have prompted serious concerns over maritime security. Recent military maneuvers by China, the Philippines, and the United States have heightened fears of potential conflict in this strategically significant region, vital for global trade. China's assertive claims over disputed territories, including the Spratly Islands, continue to provoke strong reactions from neighboring nations, particularly Vietnam and Malaysia. The U.S. has reiterated its commitment to ensuring freedom of navigation in the area, leading to an increased military presence, including naval patrols. Analysts warn that continued provocations could lead to miscalculations and unintended confrontations, destabilizing the region further. As regional powers engage in dialogue, the international community is closely monitoring developments, recognizing the potential for economic repercussions affecting trade routes. The stakes are high, and the need for effective diplomacy is crucial to prevent escalation, with upcoming talks between the involved nations aimed at de-escalating tensions and fostering cooperation. Recent discussions among world leaders have brought climate change policies back into the spotlight, highlighting the escalating urgency for decisive action. Nations are increasingly grappling with extreme weather events that are linked to climate change, including devastating hurricanes, wildfires, and droughts. New proposals aim to enhance commitments to reducing carbon emissions and investing in renewable energy technologies, such as solar and wind power. Activists and scientists alike are calling for more aggressive measures to combat climate change, warning that time is running out to avert catastrophic consequences. The impact of climate change is becoming increasingly evident, with rising sea levels threatening coastal communities and more frequent natural disasters causing economic turmoil. As negotiations continue, the challenge remains to balance economic growth with environmental sustainability while ensuring equitable solutions for all nations. The upcoming climate summit is expected to be a pivotal moment for international cooperation, with leaders needing to commit to specific, actionable strategies to mitigate climate change effectively. Concerns are mounting over a potential global economic recession as key indicators signal a downturn. Recent data reveals that major economies, including the United States and China, are experiencing slowing growth rates, raising alarms among financial experts. Contributing factors such as escalating trade tensions, persistent inflation, and rising interest rates are creating an environment of uncertainty. This volatility in the markets has left investors and businesses apprehensive about future prospects. The specter of job losses looms large, with reduced consumer spending likely to exacerbate economic challenges, affecting millions worldwide. Governments are being urged to implement proactive measures, such as fiscal stimulus and monetary easing, to stabilize their economies. As policymakers convene to discuss potential interventions, the repercussions on everyday citizens remain a primary concern. The coming weeks will be pivotal, as decisions made now will shape the trajectory of economic recovery. Analysts predict that timely action could mitigate the risks, potentially averting a widespread recession and fostering renewed growth. In a move that has stirred significant controversy, the U.S. government has launched its largest effort to denaturalize citizens accused of fraud. This initiative specifically targets individuals who allegedly obtained citizenship through fraudulent means, such as false information or misrepresentation during the application process. The crackdown has raised serious questions about due process and the rights of those facing denaturalization, as many of these individuals have lived in the U.S. for years, contributing to their communities. Critics argue that this could set a dangerous precedent for the treatment of naturalized citizens, potentially eroding trust in the immigration system. Supporters of the initiative, however, contend it is necessary to uphold the integrity of U.S. citizenship. The implications of this effort could affect thousands of lives, as individuals may face the loss of their citizenship and the associated rights, such as voting and employment opportunities. As legal battles unfold, the government's approach to immigration enforcement will likely influence future policies, with lasting effects on citizenship rights in the United States. The coming months will reveal how this initiative shapes the landscape of naturalization. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has claimed victory following significant political developments in the country. This announcement comes after enduring considerable challenges, including persistent public discontent over economic issues and intense opposition pressure. Pashinyan's government has been focused on implementing reforms aimed at stabilizing the political landscape since the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, which left the nation grappling with national identity and governance issues. Observers suggest that this victory may empower his administration to intensify efforts to combat corruption and push for necessary systemic changes. However, the opposition has vowed to continue its resistance, indicating that political tensions may endure in the coming months. The situation in Armenia holds important implications for its geopolitical positioning, particularly regarding relations with neighboring Turkey and Azerbaijan. As Pashinyan advances his reform agenda, the international community remains attentive to these developments. Future elections and proposed reforms will be crucial in shaping Armenia's stability and direction, with Pashinyan's leadership facing a critical test in maintaining public trust and political cohesion. Protests erupted in Afghanistan as the United Nations condemned the recent arrests of women for alleged violations of a strict dress code. Activists argue that these arrests represent a grave violation of human rights and highlight the deteriorating situation for women in the country. Since the Taliban regained power in August 2021, reports have emerged of increased oppression against women, including severe restrictions on their freedom of movement and expression. These measures have effectively erased decades of progress made in women's rights, leading to widespread despair among Afghan women. The UN's strong stance has drawn international attention to the plight of Afghan women, who are courageously fighting for their basic rights. Demonstrators have taken to the streets, demanding accountability and the restoration of their rights, directly challenging the Taliban's authority. The situation remains tense as the government responds with crackdowns on dissent, further escalating tensions. The global community is urged to support these activists actively. As protests continue to unfold, the Taliban faces mounting pressure, and it remains crucial to monitor how they navigate these challenges in the coming weeks. New reports indicate that Israel experienced missile fire from Iran, marking a significant escalation since the recently declared ceasefire. This missile exchange suggests that the ceasefire remains highly fragile and is under severe threat. Israel has long viewed Iran's military activities, particularly its missile capabilities, as a direct threat to its national security. Analysts warn that if hostilities continue, the situation could spiral into a full-scale conflict, potentially drawing in other regional players. Both nations have sharpened their military posturing, with Israel promising to retaliate against any aggression. The international community is expressing concern over the potential for widespread violence that could destabilize the entire region, particularly affecting neighboring countries like Lebanon and Syria, which could become battlegrounds for proxy conflicts. Military experts are monitoring developments closely, understanding that further escalation could have dire consequences not only for Israel and Iran, but for global security as well. The potential for renewed armed conflict raises significant questions about the efficacy of ongoing diplomatic engagements aimed at de-escalation. As tensions remain high, it is crucial for international mediators to intervene effectively to prevent a larger confrontation and to restore stability in the region before it spirals out of control. In a critical development, President Trump has urged both Israel and Iran to immediately cease their military actions. This call comes on the heels of a violent weekend that saw significant clashes, further escalating tensions in an already volatile region. The U.S. president's insistence on an immediate ceasefire underscores the urgency of the situation, as both nations have been ensnared in a relentless cycle of retaliation. Recent skirmishes have resulted in numerous casualties, highlighting the human cost of this conflict. Historical context reveals that previous ceasefires have often crumbled under pressure, raising concerns among international observers about the sustainability of any agreements reached. Trump's intervention is seen as a vital step towards stabilizing the situation and preventing a broader conflict that could involve regional allies and adversaries. The implications of these discussions extend far beyond immediate military actions. They could reshape diplomatic relations and security dynamics in the Middle East for years to come. As negotiations unfold, the focus will be on crafting a lasting peace that not only halts hostilities, but also addresses the complex underlying issues fueling the conflict. With both sides facing mounting international pressure, there is a glimmer of hope that this moment could pave the way for meaningful dialogue and long-term solutions. Thank you for joining us for today's news roundup. Which story shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.